waking up one morning and realizing every dollar you've worked for is locked away. Not because you did something wrong, but because your bank decided you didn't fit in. That's exactly what happened to me. But instead of staying powerless, I found a $3 solution that turned their arrogance into panic. If you've ever dreamed of sweet poetic justice, hit that subscribe button right now. Drop a like if you believe no one should ever be treated like they don't belong. And stay tuned, because this story proves that even the smallest act of revenge can topple a giant. It started with what should have been a routine errand. I was standing in front of an ATM at my local credit union, sliding in my card like I had 100 times before. But instead of the familiar hum of the machine and the whir of bills, I got a cold, flat message on the screen. Transaction denied. Confused, I walked into the branch, and a clerk, looking only half interested, gave me a special code I could use inside their system. Apparently, it was a feature for times when the ATM wasn't functioning properly. I thought nothing of it. Annoying? Sure, but solvable.
Fast forward a few days, and suddenly, everything went dark. My account was flagged. My funds? Frozen. Not a single cent available. I hadn't gone into overdraft. I hadn't done anything wrong. Later, I'd learn it was a minor accounting error, a delay on their end. But to me, it felt like someone had pulled the plug on my financial life. And then came the real insult. Every time I called the bank's support line, I was met with dismissive tones and snarky comments. At first, I thought maybe I was being sensitive. But then one rep made a comment about my foreign-sounding last name. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just incompetence, this was disdain. They weren't treating me like a customer, they were treating me like a nuisance. Weeks went by. Rent was due. Bills stacked up. My frustration boiled into anger, and anger into despair. Have you ever felt completely powerless? Like the system was designed to keep you small? That's exactly where I was.
One night, venting over a call with my family back home, my younger cousin listened quietly and then chuckled. "Why not fight fire with fire?" he said. "There's a site. You pay a few rubles, and they'll post whatever you want all over social media, real-looking accounts too." I'll admit, at first it sounded ridiculous, but then I did the math. 1 Russian ruble is about 1 cent in US currency. That meant for a couple of dollars, I could unleash an army. And so, after the most satisfying $3 purchase of my life and a little creative writing, their social media pages erupted. I'm not talking 1 or 2 complaints. I mean hundreds of angry comments flooding in. Each one crafted to sound like a genuine customer complaint. The beauty of it? The service even let me choose between American-looking profiles or other regions. I clicked American.
Now imagine being the bank's social media manager that morning. You clock in, sip your coffee, open the dashboard, and suddenly it looks like your entire customer base has declared war on you. Complaint after complaint, criticism after criticism, piling in faster than you can delete. That's when the tide turned. Because that same afternoon, my phone rang. Not the dismissive clerk, not the smug customer service rep. No, this time it was the call center manager himself. His tone couldn't have been more different. He apologized profusely, his voice dripping with urgency. "We understand your frustration, and whether or not you'd like to continue banking with us, we are ready to initiate a full transfer of your funds immediately, plus a $50 compensation to any bank you prefer." I almost laughed out loud. For weeks, I had begged them to treat me like a human being. For weeks, I'd been ignored, belittled, and strung along. But suddenly, after one carefully orchestrated social media storm, they couldn't get rid of me fast enough. I agreed, of course.
Within hours, every dollar was back in my hands, plus the sweetest bonus of knowing they'd been forced to bow. And here's the kicker. There was no way to trace the posts back to me. Their problem wasn't solved. Their reputation was still being shredded by those hundreds of customers. That chaos, that was their new normal.
The revenge wasn't just about the $50 or even getting my money back. It was about flipping the script. For weeks, they held power over me, deciding when, how, and if I could access my own funds. But in one afternoon, with $3 and a little creativity, I became the one pulling the strings. Their smug tone replaced with panic, their arrogance crushed by a tidal wave of phantom complaints. And me? I didn't just get justice, I got closure.
Sometimes revenge doesn't require brute force. It just requires hitting the right nerve. And in a world where reputation is currency, even a giant can crumble if enough voices speak against it, even if those voices cost less than a cup of coffee.